Right, yeah, we'll be talking about fundamentals. We are trying to use Forex Factory news platform to explain fundamentals. So when we actually speak about fundamentals, there are various fundamental news that affect the economy of country. We have interest rates, we have CPI, we have GDP, we have NFP. All right, and they affect them differently. So when it comes to news of interest rates, right, the higher the percentage, that means that what it favors the currency, and you know that what that whatever direction the a particular chart is moving is a reference to what to how the base currency is either what strengthening or weakening. So if a particular news came out concerning the interest rate of a particular currency, and what you have what the percentage higher than the one that has been forecasted, right? That means that what it means that higher rates. So now explaining it from here, we see that we have the date, we have time that means time that which each of these news will be dropped, the currency it's affecting, the impact. Now we have three types of folder. We have yellow folder. You can see that yellow folder means that what low impact expected. We have I think orange folder, which means what medium impact, and then we have red folder, which means high impact. All right, so the news you want to watch out for, we have another one which is called bank holiday. The news you want to watch out for are the high impact news and the holiday. Those are the two news that you want to pay attention to. Now these other folders, the yellow folder, the orange folder, you could also pay attention to them. All right, but to filter out the noise, we pay more attention to red folders and bank holidays. So you have the alerts if you wanted to set these details explaining what each and every news mean. So if you tap on these details, you see more thing, like you see this particular news now, actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So that means that what at that point at before 12:30 a.m. all right, that was before 12:30 a.m. for yesterday, this figure was not here already. So let's go to tomorrow, so it makes more sense. Now you can see that tomorrow was still on Monday, tomorrow June 2nd, and the first news here is what 12:50 a.m. for for JPY, and it's a low impact news concerning monetary base. I think this is a year stuff. Then this is the detail. It says that what the issue affects that if the actual is greater than forecast, that means it's good for the currency. The source is from Bank of Japan. The measure is change in total quantity of domestic currency in circulation and current account deposits held by the BOJ. Right now, the frequency is that it's released monthly on the second business after the month end. So there's various details concerning that type of news. But what you want to focus once you're trying to read a particular news, let's say a red folder. Now this is an example of holiday, right? It's always white or blank. So let's say a red folder. So you want to tap on the profile. Let's say you were trading and you want to focus on pairs. But let us look at this, right? You tap on the red folder. The first thing you want to pay attention to is the usual effect. So the usual effect says well, more hawkish than expected is good for the currency. That means that what there is no forecast. Like I said, you actually have the forecast and the previous. This previous represents that what the previous data. The last time they dropped this news, I'm sorry, I'm using two examples right now, but the example I wanted to use has no figure in the front, so I just go to the first one. So JPY, he said that it's actually released monthly on the second business day after the month end. So this time, as at last month, this was I think this was their figure. So now coming for this month, which is supposed to be tomorrow, a group of people have come together and this is what they forecast. They forecast that it's going to come out as negative 9.5%. And now the issue effect says that what if the actual is greater than the forecast, is good for the currency. So if the result comes out now, the actual, and it's maybe negative 9.4, you can see that that's lesser than forecast. And that means that's greater than forecast actually, because it's negative 9.4, because less negative, all right, which makes it greater than actually the forecast, all right, or it came out extremely positive, all right, that's even better. That's how you actually want to read the news. You have various tons of options. You have here to move. if you want to see the whole week, if you want to go as far back as wherever, you just apply settings. Let's say you want to go as far back as June 2022, just tap 9. Let's say date range. Okay, let's say to July, let's say 15th. You can see that it filled the whole thing. So you just apply settings, and you can see it just brings that out for you. Everything that happened June 22 to July, you get all the results. So, and let's say you were looking up a particular event. Let's say you wanted to look up, you can see that, like I said, the most important red folder news that actually affect the United States and other currencies. So let's say NFP, the non-farm payroll. All right, so you have various data concerning it. Now you can see that here, the last one was on the first Friday of May. That was May 8th. I guess, was it the first Friday? But I know that NFP drops on first Friday of the month. So the actual was what, 115k. Is green. So I think it actually favored the US dollar. All right. So for the NFP, if the actual is greater than the forecast, that means, okay, that's, you can see from the last one, actual greater than the forecast, that was good for the currency. That's why it's green. So the next one, what they were expecting, that's June 5, this Friday, we're expecting to be 87k, which should be lesser. So that means we're focusing that what the United States might not be, that means that what is losing, going to lose strength. But the only thing that would make it go against that is if the data comes out, all right, on that Friday, and it happens to be higher than this 87, maybe 88 or 100, all right. So, and the difference between these two figures depends on how volatile and how strong that momentum or that push is going to be. All right, that's where spike comes in for news. All right, you could just see they released NFP, and it favors the US dollar. You just see that USD JPY is rising up. You see gold just dumping aggressively. You see pairs that have US dollar as their core currency beginning to dump aggressively. You see pairs that have USD as their base currency beginning to rise. Right. So that's how you pretty much use it. You also have a bunch of other options. I think you have the news here. If you, there are some news. I've read some news here. I still read news from Donald Trump this morning. So you have more news to go through about. So you can filter it. Let's say you wanted to focus more on what red folder. You remove this. You removed it. You also wanted to know when there was bank holiday, because you don't want to be trading when there's bank holiday. So you left all this news. So let's say you wanted to focus. Let's say you had 3 pairs. All right, and the pairs you were trading, pairs I trade USD JPY, XA USD, and Euro USD. So I want to focus more on those pairs. All these currencies are not on my list. JPY is there, NZD is there. All right, I know that on my watch list I have Euro as a currency, JPY and USD. All right, so once I apply filter, so it just brings out. So I know that okay, today the only thing that came out was USD. That was 3 p.m. So tomorrow is that what is Euro holiday, so I won't be trading Euro USD. So I'll probably just focus on what USD JPY and gold. All right. So there is no other volatile news I should be worried about for Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, now you see that you have what JPY. So filtering it actually makes it easier sometimes, but I actually prefer to see the whole thing. So that's pretty much everything on how to read news. News is not really crazy. Once you have checked out their effects, you understand what you should be expecting. When it comes to NFP, high rate what favors the USD currency. When it comes to GDP, high percentage favors that particular currency. Once the actual is what greater than the forecast, that means what came out was eventually greater than what was said would come out. So if it's CPI, when it comes to CPI, lower CPI favors the currency. CPI is called what? Consumer price index, I guess. So the lower the percentage, if what was said to come out was 7k and what came out was, let's say, 85k, all right, that's good for the currency. So there are various ways each news actually affect a particular currency, and you'll find them in the effects. All right, so reading news is not something tough or crazy. You just need to understand it very well and understand how they actually impact the currency. Now you already have your sessions already lined up with their local time. So currently in Sydney, they're in 7 a.m. They're about to open. Currently in Tokyo, they're in 6 almost 7 a.m. Very soon they'll open. Currently in London, they are 10:07 p.m. They are asleep until tomorrow. And in New York, they're 5:07 p.m. I think they just closed. Their banks just closed. So that's pretty much it about fundamentals.